In 2001, I started working at this place. After my girlfriend needed to leave to move back home because her brother died on Christmas of an overdose, she came back after 6 months saying that she was gonna leave to move back home. So the day she left, I got a job there. While working there, I was homeless the entire time. And actually, that started this 4-year homeless session that I've been living in. While I'm there, about 5 people surround me while I'm there and try to make me think that they're either famous people, shapeshifted into other people, my family shapeshifted into other people, or biblical characters shapeshifted into newer people. And every time I would go into work, I would get super forgetful, a level of forgetful that I'm not. Whenever somebody would ask for mayonnaise on an item, I would not be able to remember to put that on there, but that would only occur while at work. At one point, they tried to convince me that they were angels because one of the dudes had a skateboard that had angels on it, and it fell over and exposed that it had angels on it while my life was getting worse. A couple of times, weird occurrences happened where the person that was running the shop would, for instance, they put what was left in a bucket of fries onto a plate, but then there was still fries left in the bucket. I believe this was to further persuade me that they were godly creatures. But why I would need to be homeless the entire time while knowing God doesn't make any sense. One of the people surrounding me shared a lot of similarities with some of the people that I've mentioned on my internet presence. As I make this video, there's more noise out here than there's ever been. I worked at this place for 2 years while homeless with a second job while still not being able to save money, or the simulation. After the person who most resembled the 2 people that I blame this on most tried to fight me for power, I'm guessing over heaven and earth. Look at that, more. Somebody who tried to appear as my dad when he was my age. Something that one of those people said that they would do. They'd try to come back as my dad. And then the person claiming, insinuating that they were Jesus Christ, tried to make my life harder by flooding the dish area when there was nothing in the drain to flood it. And the reason for that was because he was losing the fight over the magic. After that, the guy running the place had a little bit of a change. He was a little more demanding than nice. And then not that long after that, something similar to this happened. It wasn't exactly that, but it had the same vibe. That was after they tried to suction my consciousness, siphon my consciousness. And what that looks like is tunnel vision, is what it looks like. And then I'm guessing after realizing that I'm the person who's not the person who stole the book of Zaius, because from there it was as if, well, I kind of said what I was there for, but it's as if they knew why I was here on Earth, for a love story involving me and Taylor Swift. And the insinuation was that everybody there was there because they knew that this is where I was supposed to meet Taylor Swift. And then began the game of choose between the only person I've ever, the only other person that I thought maybe was trying to save me from a detriment of Taylor Swift, and Taylor Swift. And I think the way that I found out, I started realizing that this is a simulation world, is that they would place things and people in places to make it so that way I spent more money than I needed to. That and events or things that I say would show up on my phone, or things I would think would show up on my phone that I didn't speak out loud. So if I thought about shaving and Taylor Swift, then there'd be a photo of her with a shaving brand in the background, or if I started thinking that it was a joke, there's this picture. Like, what is she sitting down watching around with all those people? And from that picture, you can understand that she was part of the fucking Isaiah Ramos over. And that all 2.5 million songs that I wrote for the way this story was supposed to go are stole, and all of the life paths that I wrote for this earth are stole, and she's the most famous person for songs. Do you think she was on the team for me or against me? That's why I always say, if she wrote all of her songs. But with Thieves, they'll be like, well, we'll write if she wrote all of her songs. Because if you say, if she didn't steal all of her songs, they'll say, they'll write one song and then be like, yeah, we didn't steal all the songs. And as the years went on, I started becoming more aware of the things that I needed to be aware of. The fact that 2.5 million of my songs were stole and sold by God, Mr. Beast, the person who stole my notebook with all my life paths and songs in it. Almost every music group in the pop punk genre plays songs that were stolen from my scribebook. Especially the Blink-182 songs. Tom DeLonge is a mix of a person and another person, potentially another person. The life force that animates Tom DeLonge is the person who stole my notebook and used it to act like they wrote all these songs and sell all these songs to their friends or give to act like they're God. This person came into my life as my drummer, my step-grandpa, my stepdad, my brother, my uncle, my friend, my best friend, my other best friend, all in an attempt to control my movements and what I believed to be true. That's why there's so many people that look alike. Not ever in my life have I spoke to myself in my head or from my mouth and had different characters speaking to each other. And because that's never that happened right after having my consciousness sucked out, I obviously am aware that that's not something that is real from Isaiah's existence. So I know this is a simulation. Also made by the fact that if it was only time travel, why would they be able to hear my thoughts and the world be affected by what I'm doing or how I feel about things in a negative way at every moment? For instance, if I saw a picture of a girl on my phone that made me sexually aroused, for some reason everybody's awareness around me became extremely heightened and aware that I was being sexually aroused, attempting to make the idea that I'm a sexual deviant because of it. And if I had any attraction to some girl, there's always they place insinuations that you're not gonna get her, or she likes other dudes, or you're not what she's looking for, shit like that. And it's crazy how much one of the people that is responsible for this looks exactly like the person Taylor Swift's with right now. Unless you don't know how to see resemblance. And just like that guy, same guy, who said that they were going to come back as my dad, to avoid a karmatic retribution. Retribution meaning bad things happen, you didn't do something. That, or they're just arrogant. They left little, really subtle, little tells to say, I'm gonna fuck you over, but did it while I'm completely unaware that I'm inside of a simulation game. Trying to claim that they're the greatest at this game. I would literally need to wear a camera on my head at all times, going live on the internet, for everybody to see how detailed the simulation is to fucking me over, because the environment I made And then all they needed to do was plant fuckovers. So they didn't need to make anything, really. All they did was make problems. And I already said that's not merit for creation. And in my notebook were things about this place that only someone who had stole my notebook would be aware of. And that's how you guys are mistaking Mr. Beast for being the nicest guy ever. Because another thing, the people who did this were people who were close to that's how they were able to steal my notebook in heaven, or in the highest realm. They shapeshifted into me, told everyone there that Isaiah Ramos God Infinity's doing a movie where if he doesn't get a girlfriend, he's gonna kill himself. And then they stole everything with that as the cover up. That's why if you look at the people that I've mentioned, people that are not famous and people that are famous, they look similar. They were betting that it would be so convoluted, so complicated that it would be hard to explain. But because this is a simulation, somehow they watched it 119 times. So they've seen me live this scenario 119 times, and that made it easier for them to place things around what I'm doing. After a while, they tried to act like they were trying to help me get Taylor Swift, or more than one girlfriend. Although the girlfriend that left because her brother died, I had already been with for 7 years and agreed that was something that we could do. And the person who her brother was dating at the time had an ex-boyfriend who died of the same thing. Subtle tell. And as soon as I find this one other girl, they start trying to do this game of choose. As if I wasn't on board for Taylor Swift and thought that that's what I should be doing since I was 14, 16 years old. You know, just a few years before, they tried to equate doing stuff with somebody that wants to rape and creepy. Why? Well, if we make the law, make them stifle everything that they do and make it a threat whenever they get a job or go to school, then the person won't really have the opportunity to do anything. Oh, and brainwash everybody to cancel them whenever they're on shows. Play music live in front of people. You know, that's the whole reason for that. That's literally the whole reason why that exists, is to stop Isaiah's Victory Eternal from living the lives or the new life path that he's going to create after they stole all my life paths, so that way they still can act like they were God. And one of these subtle tells was that dude that was fighting me for magic, or the dude that came back as my dad, was automotive. He loved automotive class. And you know what automotive means in not Earth world? In Time Traveler Thief? It means we're installing a reason. We're trying to make you inherit a reason of why you think something or have an opinion on something. And the reason that I learned that I was put in here, well, one, they wanted to steal my things and everything that I wrote for myself, and two, the way that they did it to get was they got my wife on board by telling her that I wanted to date 20 women on Earth, and that's why I was coming here for this movie. So she got mad. It took that person's word over mine. What they did is, you know in the book where it says Jesus did a 40-day fast? It was actually a 4-day fast. And you know where? And in the story that they're talking about, instead of 2 girls, they put a 0 right after that and made it 20 girls. And the woman that they did this, I'm assuming my wife in heaven, did a thing where she automatically believed the person who said that I did something to them without asking me about it. Subtle tells. On top of, they throw women in here without memory of a life before this, so that way they're easier to trick and fuck after manipulating their coding to make them have low self-esteem and think that they need men. Something that I would not let them do because I made women. And I know this because the guy who was running the restaurant, when I was narrowing in on them, it finally admitted that I'm art god. He said, "You're art god. Isaias is art god." That's not something that all of this is telepathy. And I already told you, I don't believe things that aren't true. I don't tell myself things to make myself feel good. And just to let you know who art god is, Our Father. You ever heard the Our Father? I'm God of word, God of creation, God of I make things with words, I'll put it that way. Does anybody know the first line of the Bible? And the way I created light is the exact same way I fix everything. Because where I'm from, I can say what I want and it appears in front of me. And that's why this world's never going to be good enough for I. And because I'm Victory Eternal, they put me in the simulation and then added traps and coding. They like cloned everybody and then coded them all to hate me, basically. Like for a while there, I couldn't. It's too complex to explain. A month after having my consciousness sucked out of my head, the new Blink-182 album came out, and it sounds exactly like songs I had stuck in my head for a comeback album. The day I start writing an acoustic album, New Found Glory comes out with an acoustic album that sounds exactly like what I would have wrote for an acoustic album. Subject matter on the first song and everything. How would you do that? Time travel. Or seeing a simulation a bunch of times. And the thing about this simulation is that I didn't agree to be inside of it because I didn't accept the challenge. And because I'm art god, you can assume that everything that's beautiful, I made. And I already told you I made the environment. The person who made the game of torture inside of the environment already admitted that I made the environment. You won't be able to see that because the only way that they made it possible for me to communicate with outside the simulation is telepathy, so that way nobody could see it. But they'll go around and saying, "Oh no, he can talk to people," and they watch the simulation trying to steal every version of the simulation that I lived. So if I got with this girl, they try to steal that girl next time. If I did this girl, they try to steal that girl next time, and so on. And they did that, at least that I saw, they watched the simulation 119 times. That explains why I've needed to debunk trillions of lines of code, keeping women unattracted to me, trying to make them think I'm a loser, or them not liking something because of a specific word that I used, or sound that I made, or way that my hair is. All this is coded. For instance, they put code in there that women don't like Isaias because his backpack makes him look homeless. The code backpack makes someone look homeless, and it only affects me. Everybody else has a backpack. Oh, they're on their way to an office meeting. They're on their way to the library. Isaias Ramos wears a backpack. It means he's homeless. Women don't like men that are homeless. Isaias Ramos wears a backpack and it makes him look homeless. When really, the money was a means of exchange that was in one of the books. That's why Isaias, there's an I on the dollar. It's a signature of I, highest being in existence, the all-seeing eye. I've called out everything in the simulation that they did. That's why they call me Victory Eternal, because no one's ever beat me at this fucking thing that they do in this torture game. I don't think it was always a torture game, because I wouldn't have made a torture game, but like I said, I was forced in here against my will, and it took them 112 years of me being anesthetized, unconsciously waiting to be forced into here, because they wanted me to be the last person in here. so that way they didn't have the time to plan fucking me over, stealing the world using money, so that they could maintain the illusion that they're winning, because they're trying to brag it as a movie of Isaiah's trying to stop Isaiah's victory eternal. It would take me years to put all this together for you, and a lot more than the 64 gigabytes of data on my $65 phone that I'm able to purchase because they've been orchestrating me homeless, and that's what the 122 years of preparation from me existing here was for. That's the reason why you can't get a job without an ID, and you can't get an ID without a social security card. You can't get a social security card without a medical record a medical record signed and notarized by a doctor that comes in the mail that you can only get if you have an ID. And ever since I found this girl, the only girl that I could see myself with, other than what I was potentially led to believe the story was, they've been trying to steal that. They've been trying to steal her. All the lines of code of me, the videos that I made of her, I've needed to stop in between a lot of the videos and say, she does not like this video because of this. Me saying that word in that way doesn't make that person not like that. And the evidence that they do this to try to ruin things is, I sent her this thing that I liked, and it was really good. And then when I got the perfect take, because they saw me do the perfect take on the last simulation, they programmed that when I did that perfect take, that the feeling of damning surrounded me intensely. So that way I wouldn't be able to send her the perfect take that would hopefully, ideally, make her like me as much as possible. And not to mention, I bought a hoodie that was all cotton and had a metal zipper. Characteristics that I don't look for in a hoodie. But the person who looks like that German scientist that I posted about, when I was near them, when I was 17, 16, 18, asked me, was brought up wanting that type of hoodie, and it was only $10 when I found it. When I needed a hoodie, I was forced to need a hoodie because I keep bleaching my clothes. So I bought that hoodie, and while wearing it, I found out that it was coated with biogenetic transference coding. This person was trying to transform into me and make me transform into them, so that way they could act like they were Isaiah's victory, eternal God, infinity, and then I would be turned into their trash biology that they made. And all this stuff, not explainable, and not something that could happen in the 122 preparations of brainwashing people to believe things in this world that they set up.